Hey everyone, happy Monday. I'm here with Jay-Z Zoldak for a very important episode, which I'll let him tell us about.
All right, Andy, today's episode is going to be about, well, I'm very interested in the theories of Wilhelm Reich. And then we have been talking about astrology, we've been talking about manifestation, and now we're talking about what makes a good YouTube video or a compelling storyline. And to me, it's all going to tie back to the same thing, which is so I'm going to talk about, well, this is my interpretation of Wilhelm Reich's theories of orgone energy. He has this book, um The Function of the Orgone, that I have not read completely yet, although I've started it several times
Okay.
over the last like 20 years.
Wow.
But this is a book that I am someday going to read all the way through, and I like continuing, like I'm just like drawn to it somehow and these theories, because all other things that I learn in my life kind of pile on top of them and reinforce them. Anyway, so here goes. So he has this theory, or he's dead now. He was a Western American um, medical doctor. There's a huge story about how the government didn't like his theories, didn't think his compatriots didn't think that he was proving things with empirical evidence, and they thought he was too woo-woo, and they burned all his books. And anyway, you can read about him. That's not the important stuff. So orgone, he had this theory of orgone, which to him was life energy. So life energy, and kind of like the Hermetic philosophy of as above, so below. So orgone energy is present in humans, and according to his theories, like that is what causes health, like mental health, physical health, is the unblocked flow of orgone energy. Now, he was a Western physician, but in other traditions, there are equivalent theories about energy. So it's what you would call qi,
Yeah.
or in like Chinese philosophies, or like what you would call prana in Hindu philosophies. Okay, so, and I think this also is the thing that you talk about that flows up and down your spine with astrological energy, yes?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's like we take the sun, it goes down our spine, it comes out our chakras and starts flowing around as energy. And if you see a energy bubble of a human, it's actually, auric, orgone, all over the place. Yeah, it's chi. The chi kind of goes in and through our chakras, but also like here's a picture of like energy irradiating around a human. But there, anything, any energy that goes in and out, like vibes are chi, or vibes would be considered orgone. Or if you can feel someone's aura. Like one time I was talking to this lady, and she was talking to me, and I was trying to focus, but I kept feeling this like plasma like rolling off her chest. And then she was like, "Oh, thanks for letting me get that off my chest." And I was like, "Oh, that was before I was on psych meds and I could really feel auras." But yeah, she had orgone coming all off of her. But like here's in this book, the subtle body. Here's just the magnetic field of a person. This is kind of orgone.
Yes, yes. And so he also thought it was magnetic slash electrical. And then he would have these, you could build a box that you could sit in. It was called an orgone accumulator. And he gave plans that you could build them yourself. And it would be alternating, like rock wool or some kind of insulation, and then like copper or some kind of conductive thing, or just layers of that, and you would sit in this orgone accumulator box, and the cosmic rays would come and come into your body. You could get them that way.
Mm.
I do Kundalini yoga, and I think that there are a lot of parallels too to this. That, like, you concentrate on your pineal gland, or you feel the energy come in and up and down your spine, and it's the same thing with the theories of the chakras. Anyway, okay, so that's the
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, I definitely feel like like dis-ease comes from a disruption in the flow of chi. I mean, what we do in astrology is, we try to, at least from what I've learned, we try to run all of our chi as it's going so that we don't get sick, basically. So like if Mars goes over your Mercury and you feel this need to talk and talk a lot, if you don't talk enough, your chi, you'll get all this red chi like building up around your throat and you'll get a sore throat. So like you're supposed to run that chi out your mouth, and if you can't talk to someone, type or write a book or, write in your journal or what have you. So yeah, I think keeping your orgone flowing and healthy is a big reason we look at transits in the first place, is to say like, what is the energy happening in our body right now, and what would be a good use of that energy to keep it flowing?
Ah, yes, exactly. And that was his theory, that there's a connection between physical tension and blockages and emotional issues.
Yeah.
And so this is what he would do. His theories were that you would have to let out to be able to resolve all the accumulated energy, because if energy is accumulated and blocked in your system, that is what caused disease.
Can
Okay?
you say something about that?
Yes.
So that's actually true astrologically too, because where we have Saturn is we get a blockage in that area of the body, like in the spine, like the connective tissue blocks one chakra. Like at least what I found over the years with my clients is where they have their Saturn is that body system and that chakra is blocked from spinning, and so it causes all these emotional issues. So I got kind of sick and tired of my clients having the same transit, the same emotional issues, and I realized I actually need to go in and disrupt the blockage of chi that's happening at their Saturn point. Like a lot of people believe you can just do this energetically or with meditation, but I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to let this blockage happen. So I would send a kinesiologist in to actually break up the fascia around the Saturn part. And where we would do that, it would take us like 12 weeks. We would do like rolfing of the Saturn region for 12 weeks in a row. And all of a sudden the chakra spinning, and we all of a sudden got rid of that like blockage of chi that would happen. So I really believe in the psychosomatics of what he's saying, is that if we have a blockage of chi, it affects us emotionally, and that's the psychosomatics of astrology. So that's a big one, is the Saturn spot.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like I am healthy because I do the same thing. I practice Kundalini yoga 6 days a week, and that I am always making my energy flow up and down my spine, and that's, I think, a big reason that I am healthy. And and because there are techniques. Okay, so let's go through the way that you can get your energy to flow and not have any blockages. In his theory of the function of the orgone, part of the reason he was uh, um, not appreciated by the masses is because he would talk about it with sexual energy, like you could use sexual energy as a way of flowing all of the energy, and he was really into that and really into that being completely uninhibited. So I think, given the culture of the 50s, that in the United States, that wasn't like really appreciated.
Well, I do want to appreciate him for that. He might have had a super sexy chart, which is awesome. But I do believe that having, climaxing sexually does spin your chakras. Like it sends energy up, and one of the reasons that humans kind of need to do that, in order, like Hippocrates talked constantly about purgation of fluids in order to keep people healthy in their fluids and everything. So like bloodletting was one purgation of fluid that they would use, but also ejaculation is a purgation of fluid. And if we get a lot of um stuck chi down there, we have to like purge the fluid according to Hippocrates. So
Mhm.
I want to, maybe I'm going to be equally out of favor because I'm saying this, but I don't mind being a little controversial, but I do absolutely think that it does spin the chakras to, you know um you know be sexual.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Okay, and so here is the pattern. It's tension, charge, discharge, relax. And the discharge has to be completely uninhibited so that you can resolve all of the accumulated energy.
Okay.
So I think this is true of like a good yoga set. It's true of a good YouTube video. It's true of a good TV show, a storyline, right? Tension, charge, and then there's a discharge and a relaxation.
Interesting. Well, and that's what they say. Like if you watch YouTube scripts, videos, it's like you're supposed to create tension throughout the whole video to keep the person watching. And without tension, maybe we'd say that we wouldn't, as humans, be interested in things without tension. Like it's stimming basically. It's like stim, 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 relax, down, stim. And it's like without the stim, we wouldn't care about anything.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like you cause some kind of controversy, and then you really build on it. You keep building on it. That's the charge. You build on it, you build on it. And then also in some storyline arcs, there's like you almost get to the hero gets their way, but then there's one last like time where they're foiled, and then they do like they get their way. That's the kind of like the discharge of the energy and then the relaxation, right?
Interesting.
And you have to have some kind of resolution. Uh, and then, so maybe in episodes, maybe then you have some cliffhanger at the end where then you have some other thing.
You
But
create
I want,
basically a new you discharge like with the videos we're gonna make about like the planets and the remedies. It's like planets, problems, and remedies. The problems builds up tension of like, oh, there's all these problems with the planet, and then the remedies like provide some release of that. But then if at the end of the video you say, and now we'll on the next video we'll be on to moon problems and remedies, that creates a new tension. So the person starts to get excited again for the next, and that's how you get binge watching to occur, I think.
yes. Yeah, I think it's the cycle, right? And so that is it, right? So if you just did tension, charge, discharge, relaxation, then you might not get the person back to the next episode, so then you start with the planting the seeds of tension for the next one. So maybe you just, yeah, you continue a little bit into the next one to give them a kind of teaser for the next thing.
Yeah, and relating this back to Wilhelm Reich and Orgone, it's like I think the transits do this. As the transit approaches, we get an energetic tension, like the chi starts flowing in, and it causes some tension for us emotionally. And then as the transit passes, we get a release of tension. And so I think we the transits train us to stim and then release and stim and release, and like, and that's the story arc of humans, in a good storyline on a TV show, is like you have to have some drama to build up, you know that's when people are like, oh, so and so's a drama queen. I'm like, good for them. At least they have something
Mhm.
interesting going on. Like I love drama. I mean,
Mhm.
because we're in show business and it's like what I mean, right? Like as musicians and things, we want drama. Like a band without some like my producer, Billy Anderson always taught me that under every album you need drama or else the crowd doesn't care about the album. And it's like that's that building up of tension around like, is the band going to get along enough to get through the recording, or like, whatever the storyline is that creates tension around the recording. That's what makes people interested in the music. It's not even the music itself.
Right. And I think it has to be the whole cycle too, because you don't want to go see a band that's just constantly fighting. Right? There has to be some kind of resolution at some point, or discharge of the energy at some point, and then everybody can relax. And then, yeah, the cycle can start again. But, like those kind of TV shows where it's just like, oh my God, not this again, or that really annoying character or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Well, actually, from what I've been learning from these YouTube videos is like about YouTube videos, that's so meta, but is that every moment of the video should be a tension relaxed cycle. So let's say we're doing like remedies for the sun. It's like I should build it up like, well, have you ever felt shy or unnoticed, oh well, maybe you have a Saturn conjunct the sun, and then you build tension there, and you're like, now the remedy, and then you build up tension for the next one, and then you, it's like, so it's like in a music show you're actually supposed to, like, every song is a micro tension, like, you know,
Hmm.
every song has a build up and then a kind of relax, and then we get into the next song, and like sometimes a good artist will create tension for that song by doing a little talking between the songs, like, the reason we wrote this song was my friend passed away, or like, the, you know, so it's like, I think we can have micro tension release through a whole show, and that's the perfect, that's it, but we need that release to relax and release to relax. I know what you're talking about when an action movie is just like bam and more action and more action and more action, and you're just like, dude, when do I get to chill and like have a slow dance, you know? It's like, that's no fun either.
Oh yeah. And I think it's true of a good yoga set too, and also of yoga exercises. Like, so say you would do a yoga exercise where you're going like this, right? And you do it with a breathing pattern, and you do the certain exercise for a while, and then you hold it and you breathe in, you hold your breath, you like pull Mubon, which is like you pull up, and you have your chest like out and back, and your top of your head up, and you hold your breath. And that's the tension, that's the buildup, that's the tension. You're holding your breath, you're holding your breath, and then you release your breath and relax. And then you sit and roll your eyes back, look at your third eye, and you relax. And then you do the next exercise. So it's the same thing. It's the same cycle.
Interesting. Well, I feel like one of the reasons I like to talk to you is because you and I have a tension. We call it, like, we're both Sun Mars people. So it's like I'll say something and that causes you to like Mars a little bit, where you like every time I stimulate you kind of go into like a tension. Like I feel like in our friendship we have a tension release cycle, just of like I'm a little tense every time you're talking because I get stimmed by what you say, and that makes me want to release it by then saying something back and like stimming you back, and I never thought about that, but I definitely think you and I dance that. It's like an infinity symbol, and you and I call that flowing. Like it's like we don't pass the ball to the other person and I just like put it down. I'm not like, oh, thanks for that idea, and just like put it down. I'm saying you give me an idea and then I do a little bit of this, and then I'm building up tension. Like, when am I going to pass it back to you? When am I going to give you a chance to talk? I don't know. Maybe I won't give you a chance. See, I'm building up tension. I'm not going to give you. All right, now it's your turn. See what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. I really like that a lot. And so I want you to tell me more about your studies of YouTube and what makes a good YouTube video.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to make it a little bit of a side here, but it's like, I'm actually about to make a channel that's real. And what I mean by real is it's not just this contrived, like scripted. I mean, I'm basically turning astrological remediation into a 119 video, teaching series. And it's like, that should be causing enough tension in people who are seeing this video to say like, I'm gonna get to watch 119 videos to learn this book, right? But like that is a little tense because like, what if I don't see all the videos, or like, what if she doesn't make all the videos? What if she dies before she makes all the videos? I mean, I don't know. I'm not manifesting anything like that, but what I will say though is like, I dance between being a real artist with my own manias and my own transits and my own tensions coming in through my spirit, and then like watching these videos of like how to make a contrivedly good YouTube video. And it's like I don't want to just adhere to some template that YouTube gives me. It's like I want to have a real interaction, a real tension with my audience, which is like Andy and her audience are really doing this thing together where we're really learning this project, right? And it's like I think I want to have enough real life tension to just have the project carry itself. But what I am learning is like there are ways to present information that create and build tension, and there's ways to produce. It's we call this didactics and pedagogy. Is like, how do you unwrap the package? And I think what I am learning from videos is I can unwrap the package of these videos in a way as to keep the person on the edge of their seat the whole time, right? And that's what I want to do, is, and that's a teaching tool, is let's keep this keep a little bit of tension and throughout this whole thing, so we're like stimming the whole time, and like we're not like just, "Ugh, this is boring," like, so it's like I am learning to kind of stim the students, and I think then there will be a resolution through it because they will get their answer met. It's like I'm not just gonna fake make videos where there's tension and then they're like, well, now what, like, it makes me think of this game I invented years ago. It was called Trivial Pursuit, It'll Kill Ya. And what it is like you'd pick a card and I'd be like, all right, the running back for the who's the running back for the NBA? No, that's not even right. But like I'd be like asking you the question, and you'd be like, I don't know, who is it? And I'd be like, and I just put it back in the thing. I'm like, it'll kill you. Like you'll never know. Like basically you just don't give them the answer. That's like the worst tension ever.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
I
too much of that and people wouldn't watch.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, and I think it's the same thing with songwriting, right? Like, or writing a storyline for anything. Yeah, there's a difference between having something be formulaic and using knowledge of what is interesting to people to be able to make something that's compelling.
Yeah. Well, it's like even outfits. It's like I'm trying to create a little bit of tension with my outfit. Now, what does that mean? Like look at how this stripes against this create tension visually, actually. Don't you think? Like it's like that's a weird pattern and it's kind of circusy and weird, but don't you kind of like to look at it over and over again? Like I bet you want to look at this longer, you know? Like when you turn off the camera, you might miss this weird outfit I got going on. But I mean, we
Yeah.
actually want to create tension with even like visual stim or visual elements. It's like with these videos we're making, there's people might not be watching. I mean, we're getting great views. It's not like we're counting though. Like at the Moira Press studio, we just run. Like Jenzar told me this the other day. She just like run and then let the points follow. And it's like that's like totally me. It's like we have enough tension in our friendship and the learning. Like learning creates tension. Like you release mad dopamine when you learn new things. Like I think people watching this video will be releasing dopamine because they're actually learning about this tension cycle. Like, and there are micro tensions throughout our interaction and all this kind of stuff. But it's like we're not doing this editing contrived thing where we're trying to manufacture tension and but I think that's where editing comes in, is to maximize the tension release cycle so that it's like build, but all right, now it's released. But you basically want to carry them through the whole video with tension so they don't turn off the video. Is um that's like the key thing with YouTubing.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll get to find out what happens.
Yeah. um so I want to know, like, so how could a YouTube video move Orgone?
Oh, Orgone?
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, there's a little tension right now because we don't know what Jesse's gonna say. Jake.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna say either. I think it must be like what you were saying about the dopamines and that we like learning things or learning new things, and maybe it's also a thing that like we've planted some seeds or used some terms of like that maybe people will look up like, hey, who was this Wilhelm Reich dude? Or maybe people will look up like, what is your throat chakra? Or and I think that, yeah, I think that that's how we're creating energy or ways that people are getting interested in things and being excited. And I think that is a uh, a buildup of energy on that level.
Yeah, and I do believe that concepts can move chakras. Like, I think astrologers are qigong artists, some of us, but we use concepts and ideas to move chi and energy. So it's like, if I told you, let's say you had a blockage, like a Saturn and Leo blockage, and you felt unattractive or something, and your chakra's moving kind of slowly, and you're kind of timid, or like Saturn and Leo can feel overly humble and shy, basically. Okay, so the person's built to feel overly humble and shy. Like Maybe I can say to them, Uranus is hitting your Saturn and Leo right now, and your normal tendency to be overly humble and shy is changing. Your chakra is changing. There's a more electrical energy coming in to move your chakra around, and you're gonna come out of that shy closet under this transit. It's like your energy is gonna start shifting, and your heart chakra is gonna move a little bit faster because of this electrical energy. You know, that whether it be placebo effect or what have you, that idea just moved their heart chakra around, actually. You know, so I actually believe that conceptually you can move chakras, by because what we do when we conceive, like in manifesting, when you conceive a vision, it moves your chakras to manifest that vision. It's kind of what one thing I believe is, like for example, if I think I'm awesome, like I'm trying to manifest like Andy is awesome or something, and I envision myself just being awesome, like all of a sudden my heart chakra starts spinning a little bit differently. It's like more open, and it's more, my will chakra starts spinning a little bit differently. But like now if I think Andy's too much, Andy's too much, I start spinning that solar plexus slower, and I start going inward with my energy because I'm like, I'm too much, and I start changing my energy like this, right? And so I do believe that when we vision and manifest, we actually realign our chakras to spin differently. And what yogis do is that you guys spin your chakras back to neutral. Like, that's what you're kind of doing, is like any transit that comes in and messes with me, I'm going to spin it back to neutral. So I'm like this expressed rainbow being, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% true. And I also think, yeah, it is all in your mind and in your mind discipline and your ability to recenter yourself, to remember about like techniques that you might have learned, like breathing techniques or whatever, or physical techniques to recenter the energy, or going to a place where there are like-minded people. Like the other night, I went to an event that was amazing. There were musicians who were playing music. I went to and they were. It's really hot right here, and we're in a bit of a drought. So and it was like calling down the rain, and then the rain started happening. It started thundering, and then it started raining, and then that like brought the energy of like success, and I'm like, hey, this is working, and here we are, and it was just like so joyous. And then that energy builds on itself. So yeah, I think it's definitely important as a person to go do the things that support you and that support your joy and your centering and your expression and your creative expression. Yeah.
Well, two things. One is the weather follows a tension release cycle. When it's like hot and humid and then all of a sudden it rains, and then you're just like, like that. But that hot, humid energy like builds a bunch of tension, and then when it rains, we release tension. So I think the weather follows this tension release cycle. And the second thing I just want to say is one of the reasons I don't do yoga is not because I don't believe in it. It's because I absolutely 100% believe in yoga as like the ultimate remedy for all astrological transit problems. But I actually have a level of specificity where I run transits in a specific fashion daily to basically purge the chi and get like, I basically am running my transits right on time constantly so that I never get out of whack. Like, but part of the reason I'm able to now, of course, I'm not perfect. Like, I don't perfectly run my energy every day, but I get pretty close. I haven't been sick in years, and um the reason I do this is because I'm trying for a mega manifestation approach. I actually don't have an hour a day to take out to do yoga. Like, I would rather run the energy writing a script for YouTube, or like, but I'm dealing with a level of specificity where I'm trying to manifest my chart. Like, I'm taking the exact transit and that exact energy and purging that exactly in a very pointed fashion. So it's like I'm not trying to run all my chakras. I'm trying to run the one that's out of whack, but with an activity. So it's like I am kind of a yogi, and in some ways, I don't resent anyone ever because I work, on resentments, but I do get a little bit like I don't know what the word is when like the yogis feel like I don't know what I'm doing because I don't do yoga, and I'm like, you actually don't know what you're doing because you need to do yoga. Like it's like I'm actually one step beyond the yogis. Like, but now that's a bold statement and that's probably causing a little tension in you, but that's kind of why I said it, which is like, are there some people who actually are beyond needing yoga because we actually, because that's astrology at its literal, like that's freaking excellent astrology, is like you actually never get out of whack.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, look at your chart and look at my chart. I mean, like that's the thing. I think that you have a chart of an astrologer who runs their transits and thrives on the like tension release, relax, tension charge, discharge, relax cycle in that way of living those things. You know my chart. My chart is like a very cyclical, very watery chart, which is very balanced in a way, in a very unbalanced way. And that it's balanced around the wheel, but it's all in like these watery places. So, of course, I'm a yogi and I would want to not experience like so much drama and not want to have so much tension, but have more flow. So
Well, I'm glad you brought
I
this up.
don't necessarily think it's controversial. I think we are both like exactly like our charts might say we should be.
Yeah, that's a really good point of like your sun in Pisces in the 12th is a yogi. And in fact, like you running your transits does make a yogi, right? My just chart isn't a yogi, right? And so it's like me running the like okay, so one of the things I function a lot under is that you can die under the machine of another. Meaning if you live out someone else's transits, you will actually get stuck up in your chi, right? Like so it's like if I tried to live a yogi's life when my chart's not the chart of a yogi, I would actually be causing my chi to go out of whack, right? But like if you didn't do yoga because your chart is mania on yoga, like it's like you would not be running your chi. So part of the way I stay healthy is that I don't work a 9 to 5 job. I'm an entrepreneur, meaning that I get to use my energies for what they want to do each day. Now, I do have appointments throughout the day where I have to run my energy on whatever that appointment is, but I actually schedule things to my transits, number one. And number two, I never schedule myself really longer than an hour. So it's like if I get pent up with chi in that hour, then I have like 15 minutes to run my chi, whatever I need to do, like whether it be email this or write a script on this or like, so I'm always like figuring out how to like not get pent up with chi. But you can tell if you're getting pent up with chi, because if you're stimming and you can't get out whatever's stimming you, you'll get kind of pension and you start getting that disease feeling right away. Like essentially, you can get sick real fast. Like if you don't, you know, like what do you think about people interrupting you? Does that bother your chi?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So well, it does, but I can recenter it. I guess that's the thing. Like I can get thrown off, but then I can get back on um only now that I'm older and I've been practicing like being myself and whatever my personal like coping slash recentering techniques are. So yeah, that's a kind of tricky question to ask.
Well, okay, what I notice of like really expressive charts is if they get interrupted a lot or a person doesn't let them express themselves for like an hour at a time, they start to explode or feel like they're going to explode. And it's like, it's literally you're not letting them release the tension, like you're stimming them, creating tension and not letting them release the tension, you know? Like if I asked you a question and then you're trying to answer and I interrupt you like 10 times, you just be like, Andy, like I can't release the tension of the question you stimmed me with, like basically. So yeah, like I think allowing for the tension to subside even in a conversation is like part of just like really enjoying the process of a conversation.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that's true. And I think that's why, like you said before, though, that's why we are such good friends and we are so mutually positively beneficial to each other, right? And inspirational to each other because we know how to, keep the flow going.
And one of the things I love about our composite chart is it like really it talks beautifully. I think we have like a Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Moon or something. But like we no matter what happens, whatever we're talking about, like I know if I talk long enough, you'll fill up with a really awesome point back. And that's that's what happens when we run our chi naturally on any topic, you know? So it's actually quite glorious.
Yes. All right, well, that was the thought about Wilhelm Reich and the tension charge, discharge, relax cycle. And I wonder what other people think about this and whether or not they see this in their situations as well.
Yeah, drop a comment below. If you have a comment about this topic, please comment or make a video response back to us. We would love to hear from you.
Oh, yeah, video response back. That's amazing.
Yeah. Do you know how to spell? I'll have to look up how to spell Wilhelm Reich. How's it?
Wilhelm
Okay.
Reich.
Okay, Wilhelm Reich. All right. Well, and of course, if you want to like and subscribe, that would be a thing. We've never even created that tension.
Ooh, that is a tension to create. I wonder how it will get discharged so we can relax.
All right, Jayzee, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow at a remediation reading group. All right.
All right, I love you too, Andy.
All right. Bye.
Bye.